Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today we are in the kitchen and we're doing a Q&A. I haven't done one of these in a little bit and I asked you guys for questions on Instagram as I usually do. You guys submitted so many good ones, so I'm excited to chit chat, catch up with you guys, and answer what is on your mind. You know I'm an open book. I share pretty much anything and everything on this channel. So there were lots of good questions about family and business and handling everything and our recent trip. I'm gonna be talking about all of it in today's video, so let's jump in. Before I get to all the juicy questions though, I do wanna give a shout out to today's sponsors. HelloFresh is sponsoring this video. You guys know I love them. I love working with them, but I'm also a customer of HelloFresh's. I'm always making their meals. HelloFresh lets you pick your meals weekly or bi-weekly or whatever schedule you want to do. HelloFresh gives all the pre-packaged ingredients. It will cut down on your shopping time. You don't have to go through the store and find everything and make sure you have the right amount of everything. Or for me, sometimes I overbuy and then I have a ton of leftover ingredients that I end up never using and it's super wasteful. So I love that I have just the right amount of ingredients in the perfect serving size for our meal. And you can get meals for any size family too. Sometimes we do the 2-person meals, sometimes we do 4-person. It just depends on what our family needs at that time. And like I said, you can totally customize the plan according to your liking too, which I love doing myself. I like to do it once a month, so it's like a treat, or I was able to schedule them for right as we got back from our recent trip. So I had all the ingredients I needed to make healthy meals at home as soon as we got back. But what's great about the flexibility with HelloFresh is that you can skip weeks if you need to. You can set your own schedule and cadence, and you can pick the kinds of meals you'd like. They have so many different options, but they're great for our house because I'm a vegetarian. The boys eat meat, so we can just add it into the meals. I actually noticed that the HelloFresh recipes started adding notes about how to accommodate meat to the meals if it's a full vegetarian meal, so I think that's kind of cool. But they're great for our family to have vegetarian options that work for all of us that then we can customize as needed for the boys in the house. They're a sustainable company, so a ton of the materials that the foods are packaged in are actually recyclable, and I love using the brown paper bags that all the ingredients come in. I love using these as like little trash bags as I'm cleaning because it makes cleanup really easy. And on top of that, HelloFresh is a company that gives back, which I feel so good about supporting. They donated over 4 million meals in 2020 and are continuing to do it. So I feel good about, you know, supporting them, knowing that I'm giving back in the same way too. The 3 meals that I got this time are dynamite mushroom tempura. That's actually what I'm going to be making today. It looks so yummy. But then I also got the sweet corn and poblano chowder, and then this lemony spaghetti with Brussels sprouts. I've made this before. I think I actually made this in another video I did with them, and we had this just the other day because it's so good. And all of their meals are so easy too. They usually take around 30-40 minutes to make. Easy, convenient, and healthy. That is what I'm all about, so I appreciate all of that about HelloFresh, and like I said, I continue to be a customer of theirs as well too. They save us not just time but money too. We are a family that typically will eat out often, and so by cutting down on our restaurant visits and creating healthy, easy to make meals at home, we're also saving money for us that way as well too, because we would spend way more than that eating out and the food would not taste nearly as good too. You guys know I have the hookup for you too, so you can use my code OLIVIAZAPO16. I'll put it here. That will give you 16 free meals with HelloFresh plus 3 free gifts too. They're giving away free gifts now, which is amazing. So I'll have the link in the description box, all of the info there, but check them out and let me know what some of the meals are that you've been picking out. I love hearing from you guys when you have the same meals as me or something different to try. We can all learn from each other too. All right, so let me get my life together and see what we need to do. Preheat oven. I'm gonna be answering questions and multitasking and cooking. Jordan is in a meeting right now, so when he gets out, we're going to enjoy this meal together. Also, I am not a professional cook, so sometimes when I do these cook with me videos or like Q&As while I'm cooking, people like to hone in on what's going on down here and critique it, and I am just telling you, this is a Q&A. Let's keep it up here, guys, because that is what matters, right? I have not been to cooking school. Actually, I did take 1 cooking class and learned a little bit of cutting stuff. Okay, this first question is such a fun one. It makes me like so emotional as a mama. So the question is, when you picture your boys older, what do you see? High school, careers, personality? And as a mom, you can imagine that's something we talk about all the time. I feel like Christian and Arlo are gonna grow up to be very different personality-wise, but also like have some of the same interests and hopefully do a lot together. They are like best friends now. They are always being wild. They are sharing / fighting over everything all the time. Toys are always a battle. Everything's a competition with them, but they like love each other so much. They have so much fun together. They're always giggling. They're always wrestling. So I see them both being really active as they get older. But what's cool about them is the difference in them is that Christian is very outgoing. He's super chatty. He's very like, he's a people person. And Arlo is a little bit more reserved, and he's chatty when you get to know him, but he kind of has to warm up to you a little bit. So I see Arlo being a little bit more of an introvert, whereas like an extroverted introvert, whereas Christian is just straight up extroverted. He's like me. He's like always wanting to be around people, always wanting to chat with people, always wanting to make friends, just running up to a group of kids at the playground, like pretending like he is hanging out there with them, like they're all there together. And it's super fun to see. But Arlo is a little more like, he'll hang by my side until I kind of encourage him to go up to the kids. And then he's just like Christian. He's super playful and all that stuff, but he kind of has to like warm up a little bit. I don't know how I'm gonna cook in here by myself when I'm chit-chatting because I keep getting distracted, especially just talking about my kids. People always tell us that they feel like Arlo is going to be like a moody artist because he's sensitive and he's very emotional, and he will let you know how he's feeling, whether that is happy or angry or sad. He has big emotions all the time. Like when he's happy, he is really, really happy. And when he's mad, he is really, really mad. And same with sad. Whereas Christian, you kind of got to talk to him. You got to be like, how are you feeling? Let's talk about your feelings. And he's actually now getting to the point where he can tell us like, I'm mad, I'm sad, XYZ. But we kind of had to work with him on getting there and opening him up a little bit. Okay, so there were a couple questions about our house in Ohio and how exactly it worked. I know I've explained it in a couple videos now, but like this question says, how do you buy a second home? Is it considered your rental property? So yes, we bought it as an investment property. So it's a second purchase or a second home, even though it's our first time home buying. It's a second home because it's classified as an investment property. And then we will be renting it out for short-term rentals for Airbnb eventually. Did you pre-order all the furniture? How do you go about styling? So that was the tough one because we didn't have the keys until the day we flew into Ohio. So I spent months while we were in the home buying process. I spent months like scouring all my favorite websites for home decor and for furniture and like starting to mentally put together how I wanted all the rooms to look. I used Canva to create like vision boards for each room, and so I would do that to see how everything looked together and get an idea for how I wanted each room to kind of come together and make sure it all flowed. And then I literally saved it all to like save for laters in my shopping carts. So on Wayfair I had like wish lists, or Target I had so many items in my saved items for later. I would add it to my cart and then just do save for later instead of checking out. And then when it came time to actually purchase the items, I could just sort of like bulk add everything in. I actually ordered so much stuff at once that my red card like got shut off because they couldn't process it. It was a whole mess, but that's there was really no other way about it. But that's what I did. I basically just mentally planned. I created vision boards for the overall styling of it, and then as soon as we had the go-ahead and we were officially closed and we knew what days we'd be there to get the keys, I just hit boom and just went full speed ahead with ordering. What will you do with the house when you're in California? So my sister-in-law lives in town. She actually lives like a block away from it, and she's acting as our property manager for the house. She's been there almost every day since we left. So she is really great for like keeping eyes and ears on the house. She's been helping me get packages in, making sure it's clean, like just she's kind of like our assistant for the house right now until we have people in and out, and then she'll manage the Airbnb portion. So when we're not there, it very much still has somebody in and out of the house. So, and then she's able to use it as like a workspace or quiet time, you know, alone. She has 3 kids. So the house can be her space to like have a quiet cup of coffee when we're not there. And I'm happy to be able to, you know, get some use out of it in that way too. Any last minute tips for bringing home a newborn with a 2-year-old at home? I'm getting close. Well, first of all, congratulations. that's a huge deal. Second of all, tips wise, I would just say prep the older one as much as you can, and prep your house and your life as much as you can. Like, one thing, because we brought Arlo home when it was, you know, the beginning of the pandemic and the beginning of COVID, I wasn't able to like get help cleaning the house or have family come help. So if you're able to do that, then I would say do that, you know, get help cleaning the house. If it's in your budget, like hire someone to come clean. It is absolutely worth it if it's in your budget. Have family come over, figure out some built-in childcare, but also just talking to the older sibling and really doing a lot of prep work that way. We spent so much time talking to Christian about his little brother before Arlo was actually born. So when Arlo was born, he was like so aware of who his little brother was. He knew the baby was coming. We talked to him about how he could help. Books really helped us. So there were a couple books, I've talked about them in past videos, but I'll link them down below too. There were a couple books we got on Amazon about like being a big brother or your little brother's coming, and in the books talk about how when baby's sleeping you need to be quiet and like shh and stuff like that, or where you can help with diapers, you can share your toys. The sharing the toys thing clearly didn't stick. I'm just kidding. But overall, those books were super helpful. And even Christian at 2, he was able to be like, you know, when baby's coming, shh, and stuff like that. So I really think the books made a huge difference, and just talking to him as much as we could. Next time around, I will definitely work on a little bit more of like the lifestyle planning and organization. That way afterwards you don't feel like you have so much to do. How often do you plan on visiting Ohio? We're hoping to go a few times a year. So before owning a house there, we would only go like once a year, but our hope is to be able to go like once every few months or so, so that I'm thinking once a season. I would love for my boys to be able to grow up still seeing Ohio falls and autumn, because it's so pretty there with all the leaves changing, and also winter time. So once a season I think feels good. Will you be buying a house in Cali soon? We're hoping within a year, yeah, hopefully by the end of 2022, by the end of this calendar year. But a few things need to fall into place. It, you know, depends what's on the market, and we'll see, but hopefully yes, within the year. How do you divide up household chores and tasks? How will you get your kids involved? So I try and get Christian involved with as many chores currently as I can. I know he's not even 4 yet, he's 3.5, but I think it's really important that he has this sense of like cleaning up after himself and a sense of responsibility in the house. So I always had chores growing up, and so did Jordan. So right now his chore is to feed the dogs. So when the dog food bowl is empty, he actually is really good at like keeping an eye on it, and he's so responsible with it. But if the dogs need food and they seem hungry, we just ask him to get them food, and he'll go in their little bin, fill up their bowl, put it down. And then I started working with him recently on like cleaning up after himself after meals. So like helping us throw trash away, putting the dishes in the sink, making sure the table's clear, and he's not just leaving stuff behind. He's 3, so he leaves stuff behind all the time. Like he leaves, it's like the kid is like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. He is always leaving trash behind him, but I'm trying to teach him to pick it up. We also frequently have him like go through the house and pick up all his toys. So if there's toys scattered through the living room or the kitchen, like we'll have him just do a big sweep and clean up before we're able to like go on a walk, or for example, or something like that. So, you know, he'll also help me take laundry to the laundry room, or he loves to help. He likes to feel like he's bringing the trash cans out, helping me bring the bins back in, or helping his dad take trash to the trash bin. Like pretty much if he can help, he wants to help. And so we just offer that to him and try and get him involved, because one, it's like a bonding thing for us, so then he feels more a part of everything with us. I think it helps him feel really like recognized outside of him and Arlo, because Arlo is the little brother that maybe can't help with as much as he can. So Christian is the big brother and he helps with household stuff, and he just like loves it. But also I think, you know, I think he takes a lot of pride in helping, and then it's also, he's at an age where like it's genuinely helpful when he helps around the house too. How do you and Jordan prioritize spending time with your busy schedules? So I think it's meant to say spending time together, but we just try and plan ahead. Like this morning, we knew Jordan had a meeting at like 10:30. I have this video to film today. We have a few other things going on, but we went together to drop the kids off at school, and then we went to the beach afterwards. and we were only there for an hour, but like the 1 hour at the beach, we went and got Starbucks, we went to the ocean, sat and watched the waves and had breakfast there. And that alone time is like so crucial with starting our day right. I told Jordan every time we leave, I feel like it's like a reset of my mind, but also it's alone time. It's just me and him. Like our kids go to daycare and preschool, but we don't have a babysitter for like evenings, so we never do date nights or anything like that. So for us, because we don't do date nights, we would love to, but because we don't or can't right now, instead we take that time and we find it during the day when we are able to. And we're really fortunate that our work schedules allow us to do that. But you know, even with a ton of stuff to do, it's just about finding like the 1 hour that you can connect, or the 5 minutes sometimes that you can connect. Sometimes that just looks like us standing in the kitchen and having a conversation while the kids tear the house down around us. But that 5-minute conversation, you know, helps you feel like you're on the same team. So the kids tearing the house down, at least you're in it together when it comes time to take care of it. Did not realize this cabinet was just wide open behind me this whole time. For the Ohio house again, did you buy the house sight unseen from California, or you sent someone house hunting in Ohio? So we actually saw the house in August. We had been watching it on the market, and it had been on the market for a little bit. And then we kind of randomly, when we were home, we were like, why don't we just try and see this house? Like, let's just go and see it and tour it. And so we went for a tour, and I fell in love with it. And after we left that tour, I was like, that is our house. We cannot let anyone else. I just became like hooked on it. So we did see it in person once before we bought it, but after we got home from that trip in August, everything after that was like virtually, or you know, from across the country. One of my best friends is our realtor, so she was able to keep in touch with us the whole time, like tell us what was going on. Her and I were constantly talking about it, and then, you know, we would do things through FaceTime or whatever the virtual method. Someone actually asked if I would buy out of state again, and I definitely would. I mean, for us, that's all we know as far as home buying goes, and the process, from everyone I talk to, the process is stressful no matter what. So I really don't think us being far away from the house impacted the stress of it. I don't know if there's any other states necessarily that we would want to buy in other than California, but we would like to buy in multiple parts of California. You know, we have, we've got a lot of real estate plans in the future that hopefully will manifest that to reality. But yeah, I don't see us buying necessarily in other states other than Ohio, but I could see us getting homes in different parts of Southern California for sure. Joshua Tree and the desert is on our list for sometime in the future. But ultimately, you know, I've gotten a lot of questions about like if we're moving out of California or if we ever would move, and ultimately Orange County, Southern California is where we want to be full-time. I don't see us ever leaving this area. It's hard to leave the Orange County bubble. Like once you're in it, that's what everyone calls it, is the Orange County bubble. I could see us potentially going to San Diego and living in San Diego, but I don't see us living anywhere full-time other than Southern California, because it's just such a good fit for us. And we love it here. Do you ever get overwhelmed with everything going on, and how do you manage? Yes, all the time. I am always feeling overwhelmed. For me, like creating task lists helps a lot. I make a to-do list every single day on my phone. I don't always get everything on my to-do list done, but if I don't get it done, I just put it to the next day. But having the list helps me prioritize like what is most important, what needs to be done this day, what would I like to get done. But I make to-do lists a lot. I use Google Calendar for important things like meetings or appointments. You know, I try and stay as organized as I can, but it's hard. It's hard. I feel like motherhood in general is hard and overwhelming, and then you add in working to it, and that's hard and overwhelming. I mean, laundry for me can be overwhelming sometimes. Like everything is overwhelming. So I just try to tackle things the best I can. And aside from like to-do lists and staying organized, for me, it's really about like finding me time and finding the time in my day to help me feel grounded and like I said earlier, like reset. That resetting is what makes it seem not so overwhelming to me. So getting an hour at the beach, going for a walk outside, getting my workouts in. Like I work out a ton, and it's not for, you know, I'm never trying to lose weight. It's not for looks, it's for my mental. Like my mental needs it. And so I think finding that me time and carving that out regularly is really, really important to help not feel so overwhelmed. Okay guys, so that is gonna end this video. I had to take a break to finish all the food because I was getting distracted and I never would have actually made the food if I kept talking. So our meals are complete. We have a ton of food here. Jordan is hungry out of his meeting and ready to eat, so that's gonna end the video. But thank you so much for submitting questions and for following along, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.